Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Beyond BITS, an alumni podcast series begun by the Student Alumni Relations Cell at BITS Pilani, KK Birla Goa campus. Here, we delve into the journeys of our trailblazing alumni who are out there making a difference. I'm your host for today, Sahil Mehra, a core member of the Student Alumni Relations Cell. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Ankita Vijayvergiya, a distinguished alumna of BITS Pilani. Good evening, ma'am. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Sorry. Good evening, Sahil.
Right. So, ma'am, could you give like a small introduction of yourself to our audience?
Sure. I am Ankita Vijayvergiya. Currently, I'm running a startup called BillionCarbon, which is into climate tech. Prior to this, I was running another startup, Nature Healers, which is also into climate tech, which was our first climate venture. Before that, I was a part of Sprinkler. I was their first employee in India on the customer side, built their business from zero to $multi-million in the 3 years that I was with them. Prior to that, I was getting an MBA from London Business School. Before that, I was a consultant for quite some time. By qualification, I'm a computer science engineer from BITS Pilani campus. And during all this time, I've had several stints with some technology companies, with some startups here and there. So yeah, that's in short about me.
Right. So that's a very envious profile, ma'am. It's very inspiring for all of us to hear about alumnus like you. It makes us really proud to be a part of this institution.
I'm sure most of you, when you reach my stage in your career, it's going to be much more celebrated than this.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So once again, I'd like to welcome you to our podcast. And so to begin with, I'd like to ask you to share some insights into your early life. You know, what inspired you to get into engineering and BITS and specifically pursue computer science?
Well, I think, so my dad is an engineer and my mom, although she's a homemaker, however, if she had gotten the chance, she would probably have been a CEO or an entrepreneur of a big company. She's that organized and that managed. So we've learned a lot from both of them all through our childhood. And we meaning me and my brother. My brother is also a BITSian. So from that, I think that just got ingrained that, you know, what I want to do and what my brother wants to do, we really want to be able to think through the fundamentals of a problem and then solve it. And so engineering became an obvious choice because that really helps open up a lot of avenues for you in terms of your thinking, in terms of what you want to do later in life. It essentially creates a very strong foundation of what you want to do later in life, right? So yeah, during the time, just a second now. Sorry about that. I have little kids at home, so it's usually a roller coaster.
Yeah.
With them alongside.
I can only imagine how much it would be to like take care of everything.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of help, but you know, it's like home is not home without them, of course.
Definitely.
So yeah. Okay. So where was I? Yes. Okay. So engineering. So that was what pushed me and my brother both into engineering. And so I think we went the normal route, which was quite prevalent at that time. Went for coaching, entrance exams, scored well in BITS, decided to come to BITS. And I think that was one of the best decisions I took for my life. And yeah. Anything else you wanted me to talk about in this one?
Right. Like, I'm very happy to hear how high in regard you hold BITS. So I wanted to also know how BITS helped you to like shape your perspective and, you know, bring you where you are right now in your career. Like, what contribution do you think BITS had and what role did it have to play in that with your time at BITS?
Sure. I think BITS has had a huge and substantial role, not just in my professional life, but also in my personal life. And professionally, of course, the kind of the way we were taught things, the flexibility we were given, we were ordained into the real world's workings, that, you are responsible for your own time. And you need to make sure that whatever time you're using your time for, you actually get something good out of it. Be it co-curricular activities, the clubs, the departments, or be it electives, or be it running your own timetable, or deciding whether you want to take an 8 a.m. class or a 5 p.m. class. I never took an 8 a.m. class, by the way. I'm not an early riser. So none of my classes except in the first sem, because that was like mandatory. Those were 8 a.m. classes. So I think that in itself inculcates the feeling of responsibility and the feeling of problem solving. That, I am responsible for my own time, and hence I need to make sure that whatever I am doing, whatever problem I'm picking up to solve, it actually is worth my while. It's more like that, right? And that fundamental philosophy has stayed with me throughout my career. Whether it was right after I graduated, when I joined ZS Associates as a consultant, or whether I decided, okay, this is the right time to go for an MBA. Where should I go for an MBA? Should it be inside India, or should it be abroad? Or then after my MBA, when I was deciding where should I be taking up a job, should it be back in the UK or should it be back in India, and what are the opportunities I'm getting, and like which one is really worth my while, right? And then, of course, even after that, once COVID hit, decided to jump into climate and then started a venture on that. Of course, that was one of the biggest foundational things that we did. We, meaning me and my brother, we are also co-founders. And yeah, personally as well. So I met my husband at BITS. He's also a BITSian. So we are basically a BITSian family. Me, my husband, and my brother, we are all 3 years apart. My husband being the oldest one, and my brother being the youngest one. And so, of course, having him in my life has changed the course of my life multiple times, right? Having the right partner in your life makes a lot of difference in the decisions you make in your professional life as well. And the friends I made have been friends for life. And now that we are almost touching like 20 years of graduation, I can really say that we've been friends for life. And that's going to go on for quite some time. And these friends have been with me for like personal ups and downs, health ups and downs, professional ups and downs. And that makes a lot of difference. That's not something you get everywhere. So I think BITS has had a profound impact on me. The time we spent on campus and the time we are spending as BITSians outside of campus now. Yeah.
Right. One of my favorite things personally, being a part of the student alumni relations cell, is hearing about, so many lifelong bonds and friendships and partnerships being made amongst, our seniors. It's really nice to hear. So moving on to the next thing, is there any interesting incident or anecdote from your fond memories at BITS that you recall and would like to share with the audience back on campus?
Oh my God. You're really taking me down the memory lane. Anecdote or fond memories. Wow, the only thing I remember right now is how hot it used to be in our rooms. Because at that time we didn't have coolers, we didn't have ACs. We used to have one cooler on every floor, just in the common area. So whenever we had to cool down, we would just go there. The entire wing would be found there, right in front of the cooler. So yeah, we had found various ways to keep our rooms cool, right from making the bed sheet wet with water to making the floor wet with water so that it evaporates and it cools down a little. And yeah, I think one of the memories is where we started a small business from our wing. One of my wingies started it, where she illegally had a cooker kind of a thing, maybe an induction or something, and she used to make Maggie and sell it inside the hostel. So yeah,
this is such a typical BITS story.
I know. Everybody wants Maggie, right?
Right.
And they want it as close as possible, not even like Ank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So when was also the last time that you visited campus, and how did you feel, about it going back?
I visit campus every 6 months.
Oh, that's actually interesting. You live close by.
My in-laws are in Pilani. So my husband is from Pilani as well.
That's very interesting.
So almost every 6 months we visit campus. Yeah.
And
every time we go to Connaught, every time, we have seen the gradual evolution of the campus in terms of infrastructure as well, in terms of the culture of the campus as well.
Right.
So earlier it was quite recognizable. Now it's of course very different than what we went to, but still, it is. It's been a journey of the campus as well.
Right. So, seeing your bachelor's education, you were very much into the tech side of things, being a computer science engineer. So, how was like that transition from being a computer science engineer, moving into like more business corporate internships, and then deciding to do an MBA at one of the finest business schools in the world? So, what, motivated you to realize that, I want to, go into the corporate business side of things?
I've never done a core tech job, really. I've never even done core tech, core software. How my computer science engineering degree has helped me is in whatever role I have gone into, I've actually imbibed software into that. Although it has always been business first, and then how do we actually make software work for the business? It's been like that. So even during consulting, what I was doing was pharmaceutical consulting, and that was my first job. And within that, of course, there was some part of coding involved. And because I was fairly okay with coding, so that part used to come to me all the time, how to automate the tools that we were using, those kind of things. And then, so I think from there, it was quite clear that I am never going to go into a core software job. And hence, I need to know better about how to run a business, what actually it takes to set up a business, etc. And hence, I think it was quite a natural decision to get a second degree. And that second degree after engineering is usually MBA if it's not a master's. So yeah, pretty much like that.
Right. Now, you graduated from BITS, already a prestigious institution. You go on to do an MBA from London Business School. You are already having a profile that, a lot of people aim for in their life. Then you go on to become India director at Sprinkler. All of this at such a young age. So you are already having at such a stage in life which a lot of people would want to be. So what motivated you to realize that now is the time to shift into a completely new space of, climate? And did it also feel risky initially that, is this the right choice? I'm already, at such a great spot. And, what was the entire thought process behind that?
So there were two things to it, actually. I think the first one was a realization of the fact that we are all going to have 100-year lives. And we are going to have multiple careers within that. And so we need not stick to the same career for your entire career path. Unlike our previous generation, my dad has been an Indian Railways engineer officer for like 35 years of his life, doing the same thing, getting promoted, climbing the corporate ladder within that. For us, it need not be like that because the world is changing too fast. So that was one. So basically that gave the mind the flexibility that yes, we can think differently. Yes, we can start from scratch in another field and then build from there if that's what we want to do. The second one was, I think for me and my brother, now my co-founder, we always knew climate was going to be our second career. And because that's how we've been raised, being concerned, being vigilant about the climate, being aware about sustainability, being aware about what we need to do to actually have the 100-year lives and healthy 100-year lives that we want. And then COVID hit, and then COVID was really a wake-up call. And I think at that time, the only question I asked myself was, why not now? Like, why not take the plunge now? And I think that was the only thing that I really thought before I put down my papers, and then I started researching into climate. And then, the journey took on from there. Of course, it takes time. It takes a lot of perseveration. It takes a lot of experimentation as well to become an entrepreneur. But that's fine. Like, that's a part of the journey, I should say.
So initially, when you just started off, were there any like challenges, like, specifically like business challenges that you faced? Because I'm sure in India, especially back then, 7-8 years ago, the climate tech and sustainability was a lot more unexplored.
Just a second. Yeah. Yeah, we'll start that again.
Right. So, right when you began this journey of yours, were there any challenges you faced initially with your new your new company? Because I'm sure that back then, especially in India, this climate tech and sustainability space would be a very unexplored space compared to the more traditional businesses. So, what kind of initial challenges did you have to overcome?
So there were two types of challenges, I would say. One is the challenges that any entrepreneur faces, and the other is climate tech specific. So climate tech specific, I'll talk about more. Like you rightly said, like we jumped into climate about 5 years ago. And at that time, of course, we didn't know what we wanted to build. It was like that. Like we didn't even know what problem we wanted to solve. Hence, we went with that problem to solve for, which is what problem to solve. Like, let's find that out. And so we researched a lot of areas in terms of where we are as a society, as in climate, and then where we need to be, and what is the gap, and what needs to be filled. And we started making programs out of it, like educational programs, sustainability educational programs, which would help people move to a more sustainable lifestyle in a step-by-step fashion. And we were running 3 programs at that time: sustainable menstruation, plastics, and home composting. And because I'm a software engineer, we also created an app out of it. We called it Nature Healers. That was the first startup, Climate EdTech. And within all that, we, of course, like being engineers, we were very data backed and doing a lot of data analysis, insights. And it was very easy to see that if we put all these 3 programs or even more programs that we were building around 15 of them, under the spectrum of, under the laser light of which of these can actually have a disproportionately high impact if we put our efforts into it. It was quite clear that home composting, or rather food waste, is the problem, which is untapped. It is a big business opportunity, and it creates a huge impact in terms of CO2 mitigation. And that's where our journey to BillionCarbon started. So we started researching on various solutions worldwide. We looked at around 105 variations of food waste treatment solutions prevalent across the world. Narrowed it down to 3, then narrowed it down to 1, and then took that technology, started researching on it more. Spent about 2 years just refining and experimenting with all of this. This entire process took that much. And then we arrived at a solution which was actually good enough for us to call a product that we can actually go and find customers for. After this point, we took another 1 year to find the right customer segment. We did a lot of pilots. Some were free, some were paid. We tested our pricing models. And I think about in 2024, like this entire journey that I just explained, this is like a 3 or 4 year journey. After which we actually now feel that we have found the right customer segments, the right product market fit, and we are ready to actually take off. And now, having said that, it does take that much time for a climate tech startup to actually take off the ground. Because so all my life, I've mostly worked with startups, except my initial consulting gig. And software startups now are actually much easier to take off because of all the support and the research that has already gone into the initial days. Climate tech is an industry which is still at the beginning of that chasm, as it is called, right? So any new, especially deep tech startup, we are a deep tech startup, or a hard tech startup, we're a hardware startup as well. That takes that much time to actually find its feet and then start taking off the ground. So, yeah.
All right. So, ma'am, to delve a little deeper into your ventures, what exactly is the mission and the aim with BillionCarbon?
Sure. So, at BillionCarbon, we are working with scientific food waste treatment. Now, food waste is a really big problem across the world. 60% of all the waste generated across the world is food waste. And when that goes untreated, it emits methane. And methane is a gas which is 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide when it comes to global warming. Hence, it is very important to find a viable and scalable solution as a society for food waste treatment, which is currently non-existent. Now, our innovation is a 3D precision food waste treatment technology, which is able to reduce the biomass by 95%. So there is a 95% biomass reduction in 3 days or less for food waste. And this is unheard of in the industry. What happens is that the food waste nutrients get concentrated into a nutrient-rich liquid bio-fertilizer concentrate and a solid compost frass. Now, all of this happens inside our microclimate-controlled bioreactors in a continuous fail-safe process. And this is powered by a completely natural mechanism, biological mechanism, using a consortium of micro and macroorganisms. So none of the founders are biotech engineers, but our startup now is a biotech startup. And it is a deep tech startup. So yeah, that's in short about what we do at BillionCarbon. And you also asked about our vision. So when we started off and why we named ourselves BillionCarbon is because our dream is to be able to mitigate 1 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent by 2030 and generate 100,000 climate jobs by 2030. So hence we named ourselves BillionCarbon.
It's amazing to see that the impact extends not only from the climate, but also creating more jobs and, just revolutionizing the entire industry. It's incredibly impactful. So on similar lines, I would like to ask, where do you think India as a nation stands in the contribution to the global climate movement? And do you think we're doing enough as a country, or is there more we need to for as our role towards the global climate movement?
So that's a difficult and easy question to answer because it's a very opinionated question. Everybody will have different opinions around it, right? Having said that, what I feel is, as the world, we are not doing enough, not just India. And we are often stuck in bureaucracy. We are often stuck in competing agreements, and we are often stuck in taking up placeholder agreements or placeholder outcome targets, right? The Paris Agreement is a very good example of that. What we need is basically more action, less talk. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. And what we're seeing over the last 5 years is a very, very positive trend. 5 years ago, when we jumped into climate, there was hardly any, I would say, organized infrastructure around climate tech around the world. Now, if you see, there are so many accelerators, incubators, and also venture capital funds, a lot of other non-venture funds as well, which their aim is solely to find startups working in climate tech and to help them to scale their impact. And that is what is helping actually scale the impact now. In terms of India, I'm actually proud as well. We are the leader in a lot of initiatives, which many other countries are not. For example, the solar initiative is one big one. Of course, the speed can always be better. The efforts can always be better. The budget that we put here can always be better because, but the truth is that as a nation, the budget that is put here will come out from somewhere else. And it's always a competing priority for the nation, right? So hence, like overall, I feel really positive about the trends. Can we do more? Of course we can do more. And that is the reason why one of the things that I feel my solemn duty is to encourage more folks, more people to jump into climate as their careers, either as an entrepreneur or work in climate, because the more hands we have on deck, the more talented people we have working on climate, the quicker we are going to be able to solve problems on the ground. So, yeah.
Right. Ma'am, I'm sure you're already motivating a lot of individuals, me included. I already am a lot more aware after this conversation. So we spoke about large scale, but in climate and things like that, I'm sure even individual contributions increasing makes an exponential difference at the end. So for normal people who are unaware about, the more technical things, what do you think we could do to, play our role and contribute towards the greater cause of the climate movement?
So there are a couple of things that even we started off with, and that started our journey into climate as well. And if I were to just, give practical points, couple of things. One is move to organic, completely organic. Second is avoid plastics as much as possible. Third is take care of your own health. Now, the top two also feed into your own health, and they feed into your own health big time. Now, why I say take care of your own health is because a lot of things, of course, it's quite intermingled because the society is quite intermingled in terms of what we are doing. But overall, even if you take care of your own health, it has a ripple effect. I'll talk about organic first. So the tea that you drink takes around 160 chemicals around the year to grow and then reach your kitchen. And then you boil it over and over again, and then you put it into your body. So all those chemicals are going into your body. It, of course, harms your body. And it harms the environment as well because chemical farming is bad. So the more you move to organic, the more push organic farming gets, the more the government subsidizes and pushes for organic farming as well. That has a circular loop. Second, of course, is about plastics and toxic chemicals. Plastics and microplastics have, when we ingest them, either through the mouth or inhale them through the nose, or it gets absorbed from our skin, again, it has a profound long-term impact on our health. Also, it has a big impact on the environment because plastics essentially are non-degradable. And they just break down into microplastics and they would just stay in our environment for thousands of years. And that, of course, harms the environment on multiple levels. It reduces the fertility of our soils, which then reduces the nutritious value of our food. It, of course, impacts the oceans. Oceans is the most talked about. Marine creatures is the most talked about. But yeah, overall, that's what that's how it closes the loop. And the same thing is with chemicals. Everything that we use on our bodies, in our house, let's say cleaning agents or cosmetics, almost everything, if you're not using organic or natural products, they will have chemicals. And again, everything that you're using in your house or on your body, it gets absorbed in your body, either through inhalation or ingestion or through absorption through your body. And that then again has a profound health impact overall, long term. Avoid that. Just by avoiding that, you're also doing a positive climate impact, because if you're not using chemicals, then you're actually using some natural ingredients, right? And that then shifts the supply demand in the favor of climate positive things rather than the negative things. So these are the small changes that you can do to your life. Always remember, what is best for your health is also best for the environment. So always look out for things that can actually make your health better. And in turn, it will automatically have an impact on climate. And that is actually how we need to live as humans, because that's the sustainable way to live. And when I say sustainable, it does not mean sustainable in the regular sense. What it means is that if we as human species have to survive for millions of years more, then we really need to use the resources well and not impact the environment and climate in such a way such that we just have to find another planet to live on, right? Because there is really not going to be another Earth. Yeah.
Right. Ma'am, your efforts have garnered so much deserved recognition. You're a LinkedIn top voice. You've been featured by the United Nations. Do you think these help you spread your message even more, reach out, like your message reach out more, and like gives you some validation that yes, I'm moving in the right direction in terms of the message I'm trying to spread?
Oh yes, of course. I think the biggest validations that we've received is when the two, of course, validation from the World Economic Forum, when we were selected as the top innovator, and United Nations SCAP, when over there we won the startup competition. And then after those validations, of course, many more have come in. And that just shows that, yes, we are working in the right direction and we should keep doing what we're doing.
Right. So to make this more fun, if you don't mind, we can have like this short 5-minute rapid fire where I'll ask you some questions and you can just, say whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
All right. So let's go. What is one book that has significantly influenced your life and your career?
I'll name two. One was Sapiens, which actually started me on the journey of looking at ourselves not as individuals, but as a human species. And the other is Regenesis, which is all about soil health and how it impacts us.
Right. I've read Sapiens as well. It's a very nice book.
Yeah.
Next, who was your favorite professor at BITS and what course did they take with you?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't think I even attended so many classes when I
Fair
went.
enough.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let me think.
yeah, no issues. Or even alternatively, one course that you enjoy.
Short filmmaking.
Yeah, love the electives.
Yeah.
Next, what's one hobby or interest you have outside of climate which could surprise the audience? It could be like a sport or anything you like to do for fun.
I like to play the flute, Indian flute.
Right, interesting.
I'm learning. I started learning just like 2 years ago. It is a very recent hobby.
And what's the best piece of advice you received, professional or about life? Anything?
Lots actually. Best piece of advice. We're all going to have 100-year lives, multiple careers within that life. So live it like that. Don't throw it away. Make it worthwhile.
I think that's great advice. Anyways, I think that's it for the rapid fire. Thank you for playing along. For the next thing, we want talking about some advice we could give to students. What's one thing you would suggest, like advice to the younger Bitsians, current and future, and also for someone who is also interested in moving into like climate entrepreneurship? How can they start?
So as a Bitsian, I think the only advice I would give is be flexible in terms of even thinking about what you can and what you want to do. Experiment a lot. And I think our generation majorly, like largely, is quite privileged in terms of being able to experiment financially as well, because our parents have done the hard job, right? Hard work, all of that they've done. So we do have a financial net in most cases. So feel free to experiment, don't be afraid. I'm a first generation entrepreneur, me and my brother both. And we now know, like after 5 years of entrepreneurship, we now know that it does make a lot of difference just to have that change of mindset of it's really okay and it's encouraged to experiment rather than I should be doing a service job and getting a salary at the end of the month every time. So yeah, that's one for Bitsians. And for anybody who wants to move to climate tech, the time is now. There's so much opportunity out there. So climate tech in itself is an umbrella industry with a lot of industries under it. For example, materials is an industry. For example, waste management is what we work on. Agri-tech is one. Then carbon capture is one. There's so much opportunity out there. Each of the industries, for example, even if you take up like steel and mining, these are industries that need to be decarbonized. So you need to create innovations and then startups out of that in these industries as well. Across the world, whatever industry you know is going to become a climate tech startup innovation hub. Hence, I say the time is now.
Right. And looking ahead into the future, what do you think is next for you? Like, are there any, new exciting projects or updates within the climate segment that, you're excited about, that you feel you'll be working on?
I think for us, the most exciting thing right now is to be able to get the opportunity to scale BillionCarbon, because we are doing something that nobody has really done in the world before. We have an innovation in food waste that we are trying to scale. So far, there has been no innovation in food waste management that has been able to scale profitably, and we are doing that. And so I think that's something that we are very excited about. The next exciting thing is agri-tech for us. And with our fertilizers, that's what we are doing. They are currently under R&D and field trials. And once they're ready for market, I think that's going to be the biggest next exciting thing for us.
Right. All right, ma'am. I think that's about it. It's been a very interesting conversation with you today. I think it's been a lot of awareness spread for everyone, to realize that the importance of taking care of our planet and taking care of our climate, especially with all the global warming we've had in the last few years. And it's inspiring for especially Bitsians as well to see something non-conventional, not just the regular tech and business things.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it. And everyone, please stay tuned for more exciting such conversations on Beyond Bits. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. I just had a random thought.
Yeah.
And that's because we are hiring environmental engineers now. I think BITS should start an environmental engineering course.
Oh, ma'am, it's actually starting this year. I'm not sure. So, yeah, so this 2025-26 batch onwards, we're starting a new Bachelor of Engineering in Environment Engineering.
Oh, that's amazing, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome, awesome.
Yes.
Because that is, the demand for that is going to grow quite.
Yes, definitely.
Software miracles, AI is here.
Yeah, even like green energy and, more moving towards sustainability. I think it's going to be the next big thing.
Yeah, it's true.
Right. All right. Thank you so much. It was great having this conversation with you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, same here. Thank you so much for the insightful questions. It was really great, going down the memory lane and then just digging up things.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's always great to talk to fellow Bitsians.
Same here.